I'm not changing the sound. Greetings, hi, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome to another episode of Strat Talk, the show where we go over a round of professional Counter-Strike and examine it closely to figure out exactly what happened. It's like watching a consummate artisan craft the perfect piece of pottery or a master chef prepare an elegant savory dish. Because yes, we really do care that much about video games. This time we got a round from FaZe versus mousesports from the ESL Pro League. If you want to watch my full recast of the match, there will be a link at the end of the video. Where we are in the game right now is mousesports leading 5-0, with FaZe able to buy up fully for a gun round. Previously on Counter-Strike, FaZe had failed the nade cross at mid, so this time they decided to smoke the cross. If at first you don't succeed, try something else, because you clearly suck at the first thing. When smoking the cross, it's impossible for the other team to tell exactly how many players crossed. So switching it up slightly, FaZe plays a 2-1-2 CT side setup, which is 2 players to hold B site, 1 player middle, and 2 players at A. The 2 players at A hold long A, leaving short A open. However, the mid-opper, Alu, watches short, so FaZe will know beforehand if mousesports can potentially go short. Because of this, there isn't really a reason to hold short early on or to put anybody in that position. The way that they're set up, if mousesports does go short, they can set up for a retake. Mousesports on the terrorist side play very disciplined and methodically. Early on, Chris and NiKo delay before pushing into the tunnels, possibly anticipating some kind of a peek into tunnels by FaZe. It's possible that this is because NiKo didn't initially hear the standard B smoke go off. After taking tunnels, Chris moves on to lower tunnels, and mousesports methodically work to take mid control. The first flash thrown by Speedy is meant to support Chris by forcing a player back who could potentially go up short A. So far, mousesports has anticipated someone peeking B tunnels and someone peeking at short A, but FaZe is playing this round as passive as Sweden in World War II. Chris decides to peek at middle, throwing a flash over the top meant to push back an opera who could be holding this angle. And there is an opera holding this angle. Alu, pay very close attention. Alu successfully dodges this flash without seeing it. He hears the flash bounce off the wall and instinctively knows exactly what flash it is and avoids it. As a result, he's able to pick off Chris who, from his crosshair position, wasn't even expecting anybody to be holding that angle, but instead was sweeping the close angles. For those of you like myself who haven't been paying attention to Pro Counter-Strike, you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, where's Maikalele? Why is Alu opping for this team? That's what we were saying about the ninjas in pajamas in 2015. Very quickly, Alu takes advantage of the situation, throwing his own flash, then another. The first flash is meant to be avoided, but it perfectly flashes Oscar. If he peeked on this flash, he most likely would have been able to get the pick on Oscar as well. The second flash is the one meant to actually flash the enemy when they re-peek, and it also flashes Oscar. Notice how Alu moves quickly across, too quickly to actually get a frag. He's scanning mid to figure out where the players are standing. When he sees Oscar running to the right of top mid, he fixates his crosshair on top mid. Unluckily, Oscar has already strafed back out to top mid and catches his shoulder peeking out, landing a wallbang shot. Falling back, Alu gives the position up so that he won't get picked. He drops an incendiary grenade at middle to prevent a push while he repositions and smokes off short. This will allow FaZe a few seconds to readjust without mousesports pushing. They use this time to do nothing. But this is where it gets interesting. NiKo really wants to push out mid. When the Molotov blocks him off, he throws a mid to B smoke and pushes out after it clears with a flash, even going so far as to spam the smoke. It's surprising that FaZe didn't know that he was there. FaZe seems to assume that the mid to B smoke is a fake by their lax presence at mid. It's also a common practice to throw a mid to B smoke when executing an A take in order to both fake the enemy out and to slow down the rotates. This is what mousesports is doing here as they set up for an A site take. However, NiKo is somehow able to sneak through middle, through mid to B smoke, and into CT spawn. I want you to carefully watch the blue line that appears and disappears. This line denotes AZ's line of sight. In the meantime, we have 2 smokes thrown at long, which block off long A. These smokes are really weird. They make it easier to take long A and more difficult to rotate from long A back to short. Dennis is all like, yeah boy, I'ma take long, and then he gets shot in the head and dies. So we have a 3 versus 5. FaZe decides to chill. The military genius warlord Cao once said, if you outnumber the enemy 2-1, then divide your forces into 2 parts. 1 for direct assault and 1 for surprise attack. Let's give FaZe the benefit of the doubt and pretend that's what they're doing. If mousesports decides to take B, FaZe has a strong hold. If mousesports decides to take long A, FaZe has a strong hold. If mousesports decides to take short A, FaZe is screwed. So mousesports decides to take short A. In this situation, FaZe has to play retake. Once again, the focus is on Alu, who's watching short. NiKo finally gets payoff for his grand adventure into CT spawn by hitting a confused Alu and forcing him back. At this point, FaZe has resigned to do a retake on A. They allow mousesports to take the site while continuing to hold their positions in case there's a lurk. The lurk in this case was NiKo, who was at CT spawn, not really a place they expected it. Alu watches short, trying to get a pick as they enter the site, but his greed gets the best of him as NiKo finally takes him down. This, in my opinion, is a mistake from FaZe. First of all, you have to expect the player could potentially jump down short into CT spawn. Also consider Alu was already shot from CT. Why is it that he decided to watch an angle where the player from CT could punish him? I think this is because the B players didn't start to rotate, whether it was from a lack of information, whether it was from a lack of communication, whether it was from them just being lazy. If they decided to clear mid, they would have seen NiKo and CT spawn and could have protected Alu. It's possible Alu was expecting this when holding short A for a pick. Also consider that there are only 15 seconds left on the clock when this happens. Shouldn't FaZe have assumed mousesports was taking A at this time? So with that minor blunder, mousesports now has A site and has given themselves a winnable situation, a 3 versus 4 hold-off. It's so late in the round that all the nades have been expended save for a single flash, so it's time for a good old-fashioned gunfight. NiKo, who up to this point has been beautiful, decides to jump with his knife out into the cubby at short. Big mistake. He's spotted. It was a puzzling decision. They should have assumed the counter-terrorists had begun their rotate and would be at short A. The gunfight ensues, and those are not the trades that mousesports wanted. This leaves poor Oscar to clutch a 1 versus 3 with an AWP, a near impossible task, no teammate to watch his back, the world watching. This is the moment that defines a player. I thought this was a good round from both teams, which is why I wanted to share it. You can't expect somebody to win that 1v3, but it is cool when it happens, and it does happen. Thank you so much for watching. I am TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. Don't draw it, TheWarOwl. Don't draw it. Oh no!